We're back with the state auditor, Suzanne, 2 for 2 so far on the pop quiz bump. So we go to question 3 right now. Crane is a Massachusetts company that produces the paper used for U.S. currency. A famous patriot was an early customer who printed the nation's first paper money. Who was that patriot? Was it John Hancock, Paul Revere, or James Otis?
I think it was Paul Revere.
There you go. See, there you go.
You're guessing
you're
is
hot.
phenomenal.
He was also an engraver, by the way. You know that he was
that's why
an engraver.
That's why I figured.
Very good. Very good. And our last question is, you are one of 6 state constitutional officials, which is elected by a statewide vote. In what year was the first state auditor elected in the Commonwealth? Was it 1829, 1839, or was it 1849?
Well, as a matter of fact, it's none of the above, because the first state auditor was not elected. The year was 1949, but the first 1849. But the first state auditor was appointed by the legislature.
Well, look at you,
and it was
teaching OTR about the pop quiz.
We'll just throw the pop quiz away.
Goodness.
So, wow.
Bingo. Nailed it.
You've just made history on OTR.
Great job. Great job.
Very good. So we've talked about the DOR, we've talked about the RMV, we've talked about police training. Is there, and these are only 3 of many audits that you do during the course of the year, but is there an overall theme? I mean, all of these agencies are under the jurisdiction of the Baker administration.
Right. I have a different definition of accountability than I think a lot of politicians have. Accountability is not being willing to step in front of the cameras and say we messed up here. It's not about chopping off somebody's head, offering them up as a sacrificial lamb. Accountability has to be a business practice that is built into all of your decision making. It means you do long-range planning without regard to politics. It means you hire competent people. It means you set performance standards and that you measure according to those standards. It means that you plan for the failures.
Are you saying that Governor Baker is not doing these things?
I'm saying that I think that the first act that he, the first of his acts as governor, if you recall, was to offer an early retirement incentive plan to reduce the number of employees in state government. That had a significant impact on all of the agencies that we are talking about, including the MBTA and many others. And so that capacity of the state to do long-term planning, to cover the basics, make sure that agencies were operating according to the law and were just covering the basics of state government, they were terribly eroded. And they haven't been built back up. That was one of the findings in the recently released report on the MBTA that was looking into safety. It said they don't have enough people to do the job there. That the emphasis on financial control went too far because it didn't allow for covering the basics of government. That is, to my mind, that is what accountability is.
So you're not surprised by any of this?
Unfortunately, I'm really not. It was easy to predict that when you cut out so many people and so many basic functions were being underfunded, underpopulated with professionals, that you would end up with results like this.
We're saying goodbye to 2019. We're heading into an important year, 2020. Obviously, it's a major year. So let me ask you, because you're a politician, you're an American citizen, you are, as we mentioned, elected to a statewide office here. Who are you backing for president, if I may ask?
I made a decision early on to back our United States Senator, Elizabeth Warren.
But you did used to work for Deval Patrick. You were his labor secretary.
I did. But I have made my commitment to Elizabeth Warren. I wish Deval well. I have a ton of admiration for him. If he had gotten in a year ago, I might be in a different place.
And if I may ask, United States Senator Ed Markey, Joe Kennedy, Shannon Liss-Riordan, have you decided that race yet?
I have Ed Markey.
Ed Markey.
I believe that, frankly, as important as all the issues that we've been discussing here are, none of this is going to matter if we're all dead in 60 years. And Ed has been there on the issues that are at the top of everybody's agenda right now, including, most especially climate change. From his very first days in not just the Congress, but in the Massachusetts legislature, he has been promoting alternative energy, trying to cut down on fossil fuels. He has been concerned from day one about the environment. He was an advocate for climate action before the term even existed.
Climate change. Well, I appreciate you.
As well as civil rights and women's health and all the things that are of importance
Thanks
today.
for your time this morning. It's great to
Thank
see you as always. Our thanks again to our guest, the State Auditor, Suzanne Bump. The Sunday Roundtable is next here on OTR. A blistering report reveals that safety is not a top priority at the MBTA. The fallout and the future for some top transportation officials. We'll be right back.